Hi and welcome back, and we are on the third part of our second class learning Genesis 1 verse 1. And can you believe we've already learned 2 verses in Hebrew? We're going to go back through it again. Let's do this again. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et haaretz. Now, I want to ask you a few questions before I go into maybe looking at what some of these words mean. I'm going to ask you some questions about the words to get you thinking about them, way before I've even asked you what they could mean. If you think about it, can I say bara, a house? Depends on what bara means. What do you think bara might mean? Can you say bara, a house? And what could that mean? If you said he created a house, that's right. Bara means he created. So I could say, or I'm going to ask you, what do you think? Could I say bara, a car? Or bara, a seat? Yes, you can. In fact, you can pretty much say he created anything. Obviously, in the context of us as humans, we can't create things. I couldn't say bara rich unless it was God doing the creating. Now that puts an interesting question. What is doing the creating and what is being created? So let's go back through our Hebrew and let's have a little look. The first word that we looked at was bereshit. Now, do you remember what that was in English? In the beginning. That's right. In our modern translations, we translate that as in the beginning. And it's actually the name of the first book of the Hebrew Bible. It's called Bereshit, because it's the very first word of the Bible. You may have heard, and some of you who have done some Bible studying may have heard a Bible teacher say that this actually means in a beginning, not in the beginning. And that's seemed tactically correct because there is not the definite article connected to that. The definite article is the word the. And so technically, yes, it's in a beginning. That could mean something theological, or it could just mean that the person who was writing the Hebrew neglected to put the and just said in a beginning. I'll leave that one down to you because this is not a theology class, this is a Hebrew class. But it makes you think a little bit. So we have bereshit, in a beginning. Now the next word, bara, we did this. What do you think that means? Notice the word order in English. I'm going to say the English and then the Hebrew, and then have a little listen. Bereshit bara Elohim. How is it in English? In the beginning, God created. So notice the difference in the word order. In Hebrew, we say bereshit bara Elohim. So the bara comes first and then Elohim comes second. In English, it's God and then created. So the word order is slightly different. In Hebrew, the verb in this case is created comes first. And that's right. If we think about God as a person, God is what gender? He. So in Hebrew, we could say bara is he created. So technically what we're saying in Hebrew is, in a beginning, he created God. Now in English, that doesn't work. Why doesn't that work? Because word order in English is essential. Word order tells us who is doing the creating or who is being created. Whatever comes first is the one doing, and whatever comes next is the one being done to. So in our context is God created the heavens and the earth. Now in Hebrew it doesn't necessarily matter. Normally you would put the verb first. You can put the name first if you really want to emphasize the name. So you could say Elohim bara, and it would mean the same thing. Why? Because there's a special word in Hebrew that indicates what's being done. So I'm going to say the whole thing, and I want you to see if you can maybe identify a word that appears twice in this phrase. What could it be? Et hashamayim va'et haaretz. Now, do you remember in the first class we looked at va-Adonai and the difference between va-Adonai and Adonai? Now, what do we have here? Here we have va et hashamayim. va'et ha'aretz. Et hashamayim va'et ha'aretz. So in the first one, although I put it in the first part, it doesn't have it. So it says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et ha'aretz. Now we remember, va, what does it mean? And. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So what could the heavens mean? If you said hashamayim, that's right. What could the earth mean? Ha'aretz. That's correct. Now there's another word in there that appears twice. I don't know if you figured it out. I'm going to say it one last time so that you can listen. It says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim va'et ha'aretz. Okay, I gave you a little clue. Yeah, that's right. Et. Now, et does not appear in the English. There's nothing in English that we can correspond to. We say the heavens and the earth. Et hashamayim va'et ha'aretz. Et is a special word that indicates that it is the one that's being done to. The subject of the verb, of the phrase. And so in this context, we don't translate it. It's untranslatable. But you may find it crop up a lot in the Hebrew, and you know, so that's what's being done. So we know that God is the one who's doing, even though it comes after bara, and we know that the heavens and the earth are the ones that are being done to, in this case, are being created. So that et is essential for that. Now I'm telling you this in this case. As we go along, I'm going to ask you, if we do another verse with that word crops up, you may recognize it as we go along. And so that concludes our second class of Hebrew. You've learned 2 verses. I congratulate you, and I hope that you can continue learning as we go along. During some of these other videos that we're learning, I'm also going to start doing videos on the alphabet, and we're going to start learning the alphabet as we learn verses and go along. And then before long, you'll realize that actually you're going to be reading Hebrew too. So stick with me, and let's keep learning Hebrew in a fun and practical way. Until next time.